All right, welcome back. This is going to be our discussion about Monster Hunter.
Yeah, this is our first of our appetizers, and this is one that you selected because you just watched, and
Just watched it.
I have seen it. It's been a little bit, and I don't think maybe I stayed with it all the way through. I like the premise of it, and it got. I don't know. I think I fell asleep and I woke up in a really bad spot or something. But I'll let you get into the. I woke up to like Ron Perlman dressed as like a caveman, like jumping around off stuff, and I was like, "What? Is this the same movie?"
It's funny they said that because this took me a couple times to get through because I had that exact issue. It's not the most compelling film in the world. It's just I really felt like go ahead.
It feels to me like it's one of those things that they had an idea for a movie and they tried to tie it to a video game that was not very related to it.
I thought that exact thing.
Yeah,
I was like, there's no way that this was based off of the Monster Hunter franchise. They just wanted to make
played those games, but I've seen them in all the Nintendo stuff that because we've always been around Pokemon and Switches and things like that, and always kind of wanted to get into them, but we just don't play a lot of video games. I'm familiar with all of that imagery, and then you see this, and it's like, what? There's Marines and driving the desert and Humvees, and
yeah, and it seemed like that was an easy conclusion to make, but it's not true. The Paul W.S. Anderson has been trying to make a Monster Hunter film based off of his love of the video game franchise since like 2008, 2009. And he's been rewriting the script, all sorts of different versions of the script, and finally they were able to make it.
And they got to this?
They got to this.
Okay.
Because as I was watching it, in my head, I was thinking, this should have been this kind of film. This should have been like a Hunger Games kind of film that takes place in the Monster Hunter world, sure. But like there's a young Monster Hunter, like not a person from our world, a person from their world, and they have to like prove themselves. That seemed like it would be an easy movie like to develop.
There's surely a character he could have put his wife Milla into a role and not had to make her the main one. But
and
I don't know how that relationship works. So.
and the issue, I don't think. Now I do think plot wise, it would have been better to have like a younger character, a coming of age kind of story. But still, if he wanted his wife to be the main character, she could have been like someone who's been in the tribe for a long time, and she's, I don't know, has a kid, or she's adopted somebody, or she finds a kid or something.
Remember like the old lady at the beginning of Titanic?
Yeah.
The movie starts off and then you go back and you get whoever it is that plays Rose, I forget her name.
I see what you're saying. Have a younger version of them.
Yeah. If you want your older wife to be the main character, air quotes, in the movie, then do it through a series of flashbacks. But
my only thought is maybe the only way he could get it greenlit, like financially, is to have this isekai kind of thing where you had people from our world going into their world.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I think of, that this is the only version of the script that he could actually get someone to pay for.
Yeah. I have not looked into this to see kind of what it went through, but it's interesting to do that with movies, to get in that. I've seen that in a lot of the Stephen King stuff we were just talking about in our previous episodes, about the journey that some of these things go through, from somebody wanting to produce them to somebody actually having to write a screenplay with it, and then ownership of those screenplays getting tossed around, and then studios getting involved and be like, no, you're not doing this, or you can do this. And it really is a wonder sometimes that some movies even get made. And it really does explain though sometimes how you get to stuff like this. But I don't know if this is a movie you enjoyed or not. Not trying to trash it, but it just, I remember I watched it and I was just like, I don't know what this is.
It really feels like, and understandably so, it feels like there were two movies that they wanted to make.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get either greenlit, so they shoved them together, and they were like, well, let's make this movie. Because the idea of American soldiers, or soldiers in general, soldiers from our world, being pulled into a fantasy world where they have to contend with like fantasy monsters, that's kind of cool. Yeah. It's almost like that Reign of Fire film. Yeah, great. Soldiers against monsters, great idea. And then you have the whole Monster Hunter culture, and
it seemed to me like when I watched it,
it clashes.
am I not remembering right, or did I fall asleep too early? Was there not a lot of monster in it?
There were like two. I mean, there were
I,
some smaller monsters, but really you had the Diabolos, which is what is like on. He's the main looking one that's on all the posters and everything.
Yeah.
And then you had, oh goodness, the dragon. I forget the name, what he's called. Yeah. Monster Hunter film.
That's one of the reasons I've always been such a fan of like Pacific Rim, is because that movie is selling giant robots fighting kaiju, and for easily 75%, probably 85% of that movie, you're either looking at a giant robot or you're seeing a kaiju or you're watching them fight. And I'm like, this is what I came to see.
So I'm on the Game Rant, and it gives us all the monsters that appear in the Monster Hunter film, and there are 6. This is supposed to be this world of monsters, and they give us 6 of them.
Okay.
Apsaros, which is like a goodness, it's like a, I don't even know the name of the dinosaur, like almost like a Stegosaurus kind of dinosaur looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
You got that, and then you have Nursulus, which is just a giant spider. Diabolos, which is the thing in the beginning that's swimming around in the sand. Then Magala, which is essentially a dragon. Okay, so you had I think I even confused these two in the film. Then you have the Rathalos, okay, which is an elder dragon.
Okay.
And then, well, this isn't even the cat guys, the chefs. That's not even really a monster. So they had 5 monsters.
Yeah.
The movie ended. I don't know if you even got to this. The movie ended in a complete cliffhanger. So, do you remember the tower in it? So the premise is the premise is there's this tower, and they're like, this is ancient technology from people that were here before us or whatever, and it connects the different universes. That's like the world nexus. I don't think this sounds familiar.
So the Dark Tower from Stephen King?
It was literally just a black tower in the distance, and they were trying to get to it. That's the whole thing. It's get to the tower. And the tower is like pulling people from our world into their world.
Cool idea, bro.
Right.
Have you played the video game at all?
I played Monster Hunter World for a while, but it's one of those things where the game is built around like co-op play.
Okay.
And
you just get mauled if you're not.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. And I wasn't joining other people to play, so I got to a point to where I couldn't really progress any further.
Yeah.
It's a fun game, but it's its own world. To me, it would be like having a movie. You're like, let's make a Lord of the Rings film, but let's have cowboys unexpectedly end up in the in Middle Earth.
Yeah.
What?
Or let's take the hobbits to 1984 New York. I'm like, it's like what?
Hobbits in Manhattan. That might have been greenlit at some point.
Yeah, it's called The Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah, right. But one of my criticisms of this film, this is one of those films where I enjoyed it because it's a Milla Jovovich film.
Yeah,
like
that was why I watched it.
Yeah.
I think whenever it became available on whatever platform I watched it on,
mm-hmm.
I was like, I enjoy the Resident Evil movies. I couldn't even tell you which one is which.
Yeah.
They're dumb.
Yeah,
they're not memorable. I like stupid action movies, and I like Milla Jovovich.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'll try this because it's probably just Resident Evil with dragons, and it really wasn't, at least at the point that I stayed conscious through.
If you want to see some cool set pieces with cool looking monsters and a little bit of ridiculous action, it'll scratch that itch. But it's not anything like the game. It really doesn't. The game, it's wearing the game as a skin suit, and the plot is about as thin as you can get. They get pulled. The American soldiers are looking for some other soldiers that have gone missing. They get pulled into this world. They find out those soldiers are dead. Oh well, now let's get to that tower in the distance because we got to try to get back to our place. Got to try to get back home. They make it there, and then the people from the Monster Hunter world make it to our world, including monsters, and then they're like, Ron Perlman's character is like, I'm not going to let these monsters invade your world, and then they jump and they're all like starting to attack the Magala, the big dragon, and then the movie ends. It's just a cliffhanger. It's like there's going to be more of these. No, there's not.
last show we were that we did with our business was in Huntsville, Alabama. And they usually get a pretty decent batch of celebrities down there, and Perlman was there. And it's kind of one of my favorite things about going to Comic Cons at this point because all these people in Hollywood have kind of, I guess you've kind of reached that point to where they've exposed themselves as people that are not that impressive, and they talk too much.
Oh, yeah.
And they get political about everything, and it's like, man, you're just making movies. It's like you're not who you think you are. We ran into him in the parking lot. I don't know if he's old and senile. It seemed like he was like wandering around the parking lot looking for his ride or something. And I look down at Ron Perlman. It's like, oh, you're Hellboy.
He's small.
That's cute.
Okay, that's funny.
That's what cracks me up with all of them is all these big guys. And you're like, oh, didn't he do something on? I don't remember what the thing was, or he was mad at Ron DeSantis, and he was taking a video of himself up really close and like growling, gritting his teeth like he was gonna kick somebody's butt. I'm like, my wife could have mugged you. I was like, you're a little tiny old man who plays dress up as a big person. And kind of made me laugh too that he's in Huntsville. He's pretty open about hating pretty much everybody that's whatever conservative, whatever group of people. And he went to one of the reddest places on the in the country to try to sell pictures of himself and beg for money. I'm like,
it's interesting that he the roles he chooses to play then, because the kind of roles he plays to that base.
Wants to be a tough guy, but he's like Robert. He's not as bad as Robert De Niro, but he's kind of in that category of people that I used to think was kind of cool because of the roles they played. And then you've actually seen them talk, and you're like,
we're gonna talk about that in a little bit with the movie with Henry Cavill that I watched.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that idea a little bit more a little bit later.
I'm sure, because I've seen him on. My wife watches all these British shows, and he's on those things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He might actually be a bigger dude. I don't know, but it seems like he's like
6'2", 6'4", something.
Okay, so he's not massive. But
no, he's not massive. No.
I always kind of figured that all these guys, even the guys that play Superman, it's the same thing with Evans and Captain America. It was like, yeah, he's a big tough guy. I was like, isn't he cute?
But with back to Monster Hunter, the majority of the film takes place in the desert, and to me that was probably the biggest disappointment about the film.
I've always thought it was like sort of a
tropical.
Yeah, I've always pictured it in like mountains and stuff from the little images I've seen, but I've never played it, so I'm just.
Well, they have different biomes. Like you do go to a desert area at some point, kind of thing. But in general, a part of the coolness of the Monster Hunter world is the monsters are cool, but also like the fauna or the flora. Excuse me, the flora is cool. The plants are awesome. It's always like when you think of like Precambrian Earth kind of thing. It's like, well, this looks like what the dinosaurs would have been in. And so to have the majority of the film take place just in the desert, in the middle of nothing, with nothing in the background, it's visually, it's kind of boring. And I think that's one of the reasons you fall asleep in it, because you're like, okay, they're running across the desert. There is a monster. They fight the monster. They got to run across the desert some more. It's like, come on. Yeah. There is a part where they do get to like an oasis area, and then they meet Ron Perlman's character who can speak English. And that was another thing, is I did really like the decision to have the two main characters speak different languages and not let us know what that foreign language was saying.
Yeah.
I did like that the interaction between them trying to figure out what the other person was saying. One of the things I thought was kind of cute, had nothing to do with the game or anything, but she gave the main character, Milla Jovovich's character, gave the other guy some chocolate. And she was like, no, you can eat it. And she ate it. And he ate it, and it was great. He was like, this is wonderful. And she was like, chocolate. So he took chocolate as meaning like great. So he would, throughout the rest of the film, something would happen. He'd be like, chocolate. He's like, that's cute. I like that. I appreciate that. Yeah. Ron Perlman's character, I thought when watching it, was like, oh, so he's someone else from our world. No, he's from that world. It's just apparently people from our world came to their world long ago, and he learned the language from them. I'm like, that's so lazy.
Yeah.
At one point, I thought because they were talking about the Dark Tower, I'll call it that, being ancient technology from people before. I was like, okay, so are they insinuating that maybe the Monster Hunter world is our future. No. I mean, they kind of they like looked in that direction, and they were like, no, we're not going there. That it's supposed to be like different dimensions.
2020 movie. I honestly thought it was much older than that. Because
I had the exact opposite reaction when I watched it.
Oh yeah.
I was like, 2020? I thought this came out like 2 or 3 years ago, not 5.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah. I don't think that'll end up on my shelf of movies anytime soon. Unless somebody gives it to me, and I'll probably still donate it to Goodwill if they do.
I won't go as far as saying I disliked it. I just wasn't impressed by it.
Yeah.
I would tell someone who tells me that they love the Resident Evil films like I do, and they're a big Milla Jovovich fan, and I'm like, okay, so you enjoyed the later, like the last few Resident Evil films? Yeah, they were okay. I'm like, okay, you should watch Monster Hunter because it's also okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Or you could just go back and just watch another Resident Evil movie that you do enjoy.
Watch Reign of Fire. That's better.
My whole thought every time I see this movie or anything about the game is I always go back and think about Shadow of the Colossus, and what a great game that was, and how that would be such a cool movie if somebody could make it, and right after that, just realizing that there's nobody that can make it without screwing it up. They have to interject something. There have to be some witty character that would be doing Marvel lines, or there have to be some kind of representation that's not part of the game. It's literally just a guy and monsters and him interacting with the place like where all the souls are, and that's the movie. But
you see, if I were going to make a Shadow of the Colossus film, I think what I would want to do is make the Colossus like make one Colossus like the thing for the film. He's got to get to the top of that Colossus and got to kill it, and that'll solve all his problems. But like once he kills it, you realize there are like 8 more of these things.
I want to see all the monsters. I just want it to start just like the game does. Here's what's going on. You get on your horse and you start seeking them out one by one. And I don't need discussion. I don't need another character to make it more interesting. I just want to see him climbing up monsters, having one monster chasing through the sand, all the different stuff that's in that game. It's so cool. It'd be such an awesome movie. But no, there's I don't
just play the game again.
Yeah.
Let's play the game again.
Yeah.
But yeah, Monster Hunter, it was a movie.
At some point I'll find a Monster Hunter game on sale somewhere, and it'll be once we get our Switch too.
Yeah. They have oh goodness, there's a Monster Hunter Switch games that are like good single player.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into them, but they look pretty good.
I thought by now this year we would have a Switch 2 and
Stories. Monster Hunter Stories.
Okay.
There's 1 and 2.
Everything that I keep thinking, it's like, well, maybe something will happen and prices will get better. It's like, nope.
No.
I just bought some movies the other day off of Amazon. Last time I bought DVDs, they were $12, $14.
$40.
I couldn't find anything that wasn't like $26, $27.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
well, if you buy something new nowadays, like from Best Buy or whatever, it's like $35, $40.
Yeah. We're trying to drive you to their streaming services by just controlling that side of the industry too. So,
yep. All right.
I keep saying I'm going to be back with just a library card here, probably in the next 10 years.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed what libraries have been able to offer. Monster Hunter was probably at a local library.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure there are lots of cheap copies available.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got for that.
Okay. We'll come back with solo leveling for me.
Solo leveling.
Yep.